Hey everybody, we're here with MACH Alliance at Shop Talk 2023 in Las Vegas, and we're hoping to introduce you to our company, Commerce Layer. I'm joined by my colleagues Filippo Conforti, who's the founder, co-founder, and CEO of Commerce Layer, and Sean Skamnes, our VP of Partnerships. So we're going to have a discussion, talk about what makes us different, what we do, and hopefully educate everybody as to what Commerce Layer is all about. Okay? Cool. Filippo, we'll start with you. You've had a long career being a developer in the e-commerce space. You started your own consultancy, you built out a lot of e-commerce experiences, and then you built the entire e-commerce experience for Gucci globally. And you had the comfort and the awesomeness of Gucci in Florence, and you decided to leave that in 2017 to found Commerce Layer. Tell us a little bit about why.
So first, I didn't build it all by myself.
Oh, okay. Thank you for clarifying.
But I was the first tech hire for Gucci. When I joined in 2011, I had already an e-commerce website. It was a homegrown e-commerce website written in Ruby on Rails, and I was one of the few who had experience with both e-commerce and Ruby on Rails. And then, I've been there for 5 years. And the reason why I decided at some point with my co-founder Massimo to quit and to create our own platform is because from that experience, for sure, I learned a lot. We learned a lot. And sometimes I also say that we put all that experience and we wrap that into an API that is Commerce Layer. It was it's been a tough decision, to be honest. I live in Florence, and it's not the decision. It's not the most common decision that you make, leaving a company of the likes of Gucci. But really, we did an interesting replatforming project with Gucci from this homegrown solution in Ruby on Rails to Hybris, SAP Commerce Cloud now. It took 2 years to build this solution, and the most challenging part was when we had to implement the design that had been created by the agency, huge, into the platform, into the Hybris platform. For sure, the business users, the marketing department of Gucci, the digital department, and also Huge, they didn't care about the template of the platform. They just wanted to create the best experience, which is, by the way, still live with some iterations, but it's still the same website, 10 years after. So they were really innovative, the agency, So when it came to implement that solution into the Hybris platform, there was no way. It was like, fitting a square into a circle,
Right.
So there was no way. So the only way that Massimo and I found, to make that experience happen and that project finally, go live, was to create an API on top of Hybris, an API to support and to decouple the front end that had been designed by the agency from the back end platform that was Hybris. So we did it. It was tough, but we did it. And then we started thinking, during the journey, we thought that was a very cool way of building e-commerce. And I had this idea of Commerce Layer. And I did a jump, and here we are.
Yeah, so you jumped and here we are. And so these origin stories are so unique because they often set the stage for why we're different, why Commerce Layer itself is different. Even from those very beginning days, you had this vision of what would set Commerce Layer apart. So tell us why Commerce Layer is different as we position ourselves in the market today, and who is our ideal customer?
Yeah, I will describe one thing that makes us different, and I will describe with a story of how we built it. So when Massimo and I started designing the data model of Commerce Layer, the platform, so we started from the product catalog because we were used to work with other e-commerce platforms. I would say all of them, Shopify, Magento, Hybris, Salesforce Commerce Cloud, all of them. They all had and they all have a product catalog embedded into the platform. So what we did the same, we started creating the category model, the taxonomy model, the product variant, and that kind of stuff. And then, there was like the search component. And then at some point, we realized that we were not building a commerce engine. We were building a content management system for products. that was not as good as Contentful or Content Stack or Sanity, and it was not as good as Algolia, for example. And we really wanted to build the best engine ever, so we trashed all our code and we started from scratch by focusing entirely on the transactional component, which means that in commerce layer, you find the SKUs, you find the prices in different price lists, you find the availability of products, cards, shopping, orders, payments, promotions, markets. So all the logic that makes your experience a transactional experience. And I believe this is unique to commerce layer.
It's very unique, and I think we talk a lot about that to our ideal customers, and we try to explain to them, this is a lot more than just this little tiny transactional layer. And we talk about all the things you just did. Who is that ideal customer profile in your opinion?
Yeah, we have different customers, so very different industries. But if I had to identify the ideal, I would say is that customer that is, let's say, more on the Gucci-like experience than the Amazon-like experience. Because by focusing on the transactional engine, we actually allow the creative people to design unique experiences. So it's less a catalog-driven experience. Even if we do have some B2B customers, and in that case, you can build a catalog-driven experience with Commerce Layer. But when you really have you want to innovate, you want to create a unique experience, you want to create something that is not common, So with our focus, we allow the design people, the creative people, to design the experience without any limitations. Exactly the opposite that we did when we did with Gucci. Huge designed a beautiful experience. It was beautiful, but it was really tough to implement that. And so with Commerce Layer, you can actually start from the experience. Everything starts from the experience. You don't start from the catalog. You start from the experience. This experience will have some products in it, because if you're selling something, you will have a product, but it's not necessarily like the category page, or maybe there is a category page with a with a product listing page, or maybe there is a mix of this experience, let's say more catalog-driven experience, or more editorial, storytelling, shoppable videos, or something like that. You really can build it without any constraints, and then you use our API to make that shoppable. We change, in some way, what makes us unique is we change the way you think an e-commerce project.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting one. It's maybe the elegance of our solution is the simplicity and the focus. We focus on that commerce layer.
Yes.
And when people first see it, they say, well, it's such just a simple data that you guys are bringing in. But that unlocks the creativity. Yeah. And that's part of our coming to market strategy. I'll point this one to Sean. Sean, you are seasoned professional in the e-commerce space. You've worked at some of the biggest and best agencies in the world. You worked at competitors of ours, big technology, and you're here now leading our partnership strategy. Describe how we come to market, because partnerships is such a critical piece of it.
Yeah, we only do commerce, as Filippo pointed out. So for us, we have to have those other components of a commerce stack, a marketing technology stack. So a content management system, search and merchandise, sometimes a PIM will be involved, optimization tools. So for us, technology partners are an absolute. We just can't go to market without our technology partners. In addition to that, our solution partners are very key, because when you're bringing more modular components together, you need somebody that can help stitch that together. So our solution partners, specifically those that are on board with the MACH Alliance, those that get the composable space, they're already leaning in hard. They may have practices with more of the legacy platforms out there, but they see where the market's going. So they understand, they've got a commerce strategy that we fit nicely into.
And so partnerships is critical, and you're spanning both technical partnerships, agency, SI relationships. Give us some great examples, maybe starting with like a customer example, and then an integration partnership that you can describe to the audience.
I love cycling. Rafa is a win
Yeah.
that we got last year. They're the sponsors of EF Education, which is U.S. cycling team.
Yeah.
So
And they're just cool.
and they're just cool.
Right.
It's
It's
a
just a
cool
great
brand.
brand.
Yeah, it's awesome. But Rafa, they're a great example for the MACH Alliance. So they've
Yeah.
got Contentful. We're in there. They've got New Store from a POS. They've got Algolia for search. They've got Bloomreach, their Engage product form Exponia. They've got Cloudinary. So they're an incredible example of bringing together that technology stack, which is the right fit for Rafa, because they're coming off. They had the same problem Filippo and Massimo had
Right.
at Gucci. They're coming off Hybris as well,
Right.
and it just unfortunately it just isn't meeting their needs. So
Yeah.
for us, it's been that's a great example. We've got other clients that have are adopting that composable. We just won a new piece of business. This furniture company that's from they were founded in 1911.
Right.
So they've been doing business for 110 plus years,
Yeah.
and they're coming into the composable. So
If composable is good enough for a business that's been around for over 100 years, it's probably good enough for you.
everybody
Yeah.
should be at least looking at it. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. And we have technical integrations as well that just make our platform seamless to work
Yeah.
with. Just
Yeah.
dead simple.
Yeah. So from a content management system, the way the platform's been designed, there's not an integration that is required. So the way we deliver the commerce elements, those components, those bits and bytes to the page, we don't need an integration layer from that standpoint. What we do is we then go ahead and give the business, the administration side, the ability to go ahead and manage components within or feature functionality, business, tasks within like Contentful or a Storyblock or HighGraph. Those integrations are already in place. So.
And I try to give a softball here because it's our show, so we can do whatever we want. But
Certainly.
we hear a lot of critique in this space about the total cost of ownership.
Yeah.
The entire MACH Alliance, we all hear it.
Yeah.
And we just straight up think that if you do it right, it's just not true. In fact, it's the opposite. Can you tell us a little bit about that in the space as you're working with all these partners and we're putting together these joint proposals? How does the total cost of ownership actually go down?
Well, a lot of our competitors, their pricing models, when you're taking a percentage of GMV, and I didn't necessarily want a business partner. I just want a technology partner. So
Yeah.
with
Right.
percentage taking points off the revenue, that gets expensive pretty fast. If you're doing
Yeah.
100 to $500 million through a platform, that becomes very expensive.
Totally.
Fees through the checkout, that can be. We've got a client that in their first year, just moving them off the platform they were on, they've saved $250,000 in the first 6 months of being on our platform now, just from the lower transaction fees that they're able to get with our payment gateway partner.
So it's material, right?
Absolutely.
Like we are not built to, as I like to sometimes say, we're not built to penalize you for your unit economic success. You scale, your GMV goes up, we're here to partner with you. We're not here to take a sizable portion.
Yeah.
And that's how the total cost of ownership goes down.
We're building a business, but we want to help brands build a business, not necessarily be partners in their business.
Right. Filippo, coming up to the end, bigger question, sort of a visionary question. What's in store for Commerce Layer? What's something exciting we've done recently that kind of points us in our direction, into our North Star? And what's our sort of long-term vision?
Our mission, is to, as we say, to make any experience shoppable, meaning that we don't really, we are very agnostic in terms of the experience that you can build, you can design, and also the channel. We are talking about websites, but we should, this experience could be in store, could be, in the metaverse, it still exists, I don't know. So this is, let's say, the long-term vision. But we also, the vision, the mission, let's say. But we also want to make it easy, or as easy as possible, to follow the composable path, the composable way. Again, this can be scary if you think of going from one monolith to 3, 4, 5 components in one step. So that's why we promote a progressive decoupling. So meaning you slice your monolith into pieces and you start and you go composable piece by piece. as commerce layer, we try to make it easy by providing some micro front ends on top of our API. So our core is the API, but on top of our APIs, over the years, we have built and we are building micro front ends, which means that you have, for example, the price. Showing a price on a page is as simple as embedding an HTML element, which is a no code, low code, if you consider HTML markup code. I don't. Maybe a non-developer.
Yeah. There's some non-developers here in the room.
Okay, so let's say low code.
Slow your roll.
Fair enough, low code.
Yeah.
So the price, the availability message works the same way. The shopping cart is as easy as like embedding this micro front end, and the same with the checkout and my account. This doesn't mean that you have to settle with for sure when you, let's say, showing a price is a price, but and you can style it however you want. When you go to the, let's say, providing a checkout application, for sure we have to be opinionated with the checkout application that we provide. But we are giving you the possibility to start in a day, like embedding our checkout, like the Shopify checkout. You just link it and you're done because it's hosted by us. You customize the logo, your colors, and you're good to go. This is great for a POC. I mean, with Commerce Layer, our clients have built POCs in a week, really, or two. Sometimes like, we are doing this POC in 6 months. In 6 months, you do the project. In 2 weeks, you do the POC. Thanks to our micro front end, because building a checkout application is tough, and if you want to build a POC, you do need a checkout in your POC, so it's tough, So you can use our micro front ends, the checkout, the My Account, but we also release these applications as open source applications. They are just open source React-based applications that use our React components. So essentially, you decide where you want to stay in the journey. So you can use the hosted version, or you can fork it on GitHub. You can customize it as much as you like, or you can build and design a completely custom experience and just use our APIs to power the experience.
So we're really trying to present the most flexible option to our customers, and we're giving them all the tools they need, where they can build an e-commerce proof of concept in days, not months. And these can be production-ready micro front ends. And they're easy to implement, and they can bring the full suite of a commerce engine to the front end through a simple HTML tag. Doesn't mean a customer has to use that. It's a great way to proof of concept. They could be used in production. They can also use our API to build out the most extensive e-commerce experience. It really depends on their interest level, their maturity model, where they are in their own journey. And that all points to our vision of basically trying to make any digital experience shoppable. Last question for both of you, and then we'll wrap it up. If people are interested in getting in touch, what's the best way to do it, and how does that process work? Sean, I'll start with you because you're in the partnership world. How do we do that?
On our site, you just hit the site, partnership request. That's easy. Hit me on LinkedIn, Sean Skamnes.
Comes to you.
Comes to me.
You're ready to talk about opportunity.
Yeah.
And then if you're a brand and you want to work with us, how does that work? Filippo?
Yeah, same. You go to the website, you can request a demo. If you're a developer, you can actually sign up to Commerce Layer, and you have an environment. We have a developer plan, very generous developer plan. You can try our API. We like our product to be our best marketing asset.
Right.
And you can request a demo, or you can reach out to me on LinkedIn, Filippo Conforti,
and then we'll meet you, and we'll demo what we do for your brand. And then you're off and running.
Yeah, will do a personalized demo for you. Absolutely.
And
Great.
You can always follow Filippo on Commerce for Devs.
Oh, thank you.
So,
That's right.
Little plug for the blog.
I mean, it's a great plug. I mean, you're writing a blog, Commerce for Devs, which is not branded by me. I'm the marketing guy running our corporate blog. You're running this side thing, Commerce for Devs, and give us 30 seconds about that. Why are you writing that?
I thought the Commerce Layer is one component of a composable stack. The MACH Alliance is an ecosystem, and so I wanted to share some of my experience. Developer focus is Commerce for Devs, but actually non-devs are reading it and find it helpful. I'm sharing my experience, like in terms of like really focusing on the commerce domain, because very often developers are very good, much better than me in building beautiful websites with Next.js, and so on. But they miss some of the of the experience, because the experience is something that you just learn by doing stuff. And so again, I'm trying to fill that gap, to share some of these concepts in a simple way, I hope. To help developers fill this gap and become ultimately better e-commerce developers.
Yeah, I can attest to that. As a non-developer, I read it every week. You publish roughly once a week or more sometimes. It's supposed to be a digestible blog post. It's not heavyweight on code samples. You're trying to give basically the technical strategy for anybody interested in building a commerce platform could read your blog and start to piece it together.
Yeah, and I try to mention Commerce Layer as less as
Yeah, it's not an advertisement for Commerce Layer. It's really a pursuit to educate people on how to build great e-commerce, which aligns with our vision.
Yeah, the promise is actually, there is some Commerce Layer in there, because the promise is to I want to share also some of my thoughts. When I started designing the platform, every time you have to design a feature or model a feature, you have to ask questions. You have to say, okay, how does it work? How can you make it as flexible as possible, as let's say simple as possible also? So I'm trying to to share these the steps that in the past 7 years I've done with Massimo to build Commerce Layer, but also to work with other components of the stack.
And 10 plus years of building e-commerce in general, your whole knowledge.
10 plus, I would say.
Plus, exactly. Exactly. I mean, we're lucky to have you writing that. It's a great piece for everybody. So check it out. The URL to your blog is commercefordevs.org. You can find us at commercelayer.io. We're all on LinkedIn. So if you have any interest, please reach out. But I hope you enjoyed it. That's our session today. You got to meet us, Commerce Layer, at Shop Talk, and we look forward to hearing from you soon. Thanks.